Welcome to Lesson 13 by Chess Achieves. In this lesson, we're going to learn chess notation. Chess notation is the language of chess. Books or magazines that you may pick up from around the globe use the same notation. The first thing we're going to learn about for notation is the letters in English that represent the pieces. As you can see from the diagram here, K represents the king, Q will represent the queen, R for the rook, B for the bishop, N for the knight, and the pawn is actually represented by a blank space. Within chess notation there are some special designations. They're shown here, the most common ones. 0-0 will mean kingside castle. 0-0-0 would mean queenside castle. Again, in castling, the king only moves 2 squares. X in a notation line would mean that a piece was captured. Doesn't tell you what piece was captured. It just means that something was captured on the square when you put a piece on that square. The equal sign will represent a promotion. You then designate the letter of the piece that the promotion was to. Plus would mean check, plus would mean checkmate, or the pound sign could mean checkmate. 1-0 at the result of a game would mean that white won the game. 0-1 would mean black won the game. Half is a draw, could be represented by 1/2 or 0.5. And there's some special symbols which you'll occasionally see in chess books or magazines. An exclamation point would mean a good move. Question mark would mean a bad move. Double exclamation, brilliant move. Double question mark, just a blunder where you're giving away a piece, for example. Exclamation question mark means an interesting move, might lead to something good, might lead to something bad. It's questionable at that point. Here we show a simple example of a chess notation score sheet that you might find at a chess tournament. At the top of the sheet you're going to write down who the black player was, who the white player was. But for each move you're going to record both white's move and black's move. So for instance, in line 1, you'd first write down whatever the white army does, and then you'd write down whatever the black army does. Both players write down both moves. This allows you to replay the game afterwards. At the bottom of the sheet, you'll notate which group won or lost in this case, or stalemate. So if you have a sheet of paper, let's get ready to write notation down of this simple game we're going to play. The basic elements of notation are piece that you're moving, letter of the file that you're moving it to, and the rank that you're moving it to. So put simply, piece, letter, number. To start off a chess game, many players like to play E4. E4. Again, because the pawns are invisible, you would simply write E4. P-E4 might have seemed like the right notation, but because the P is invisible, all you write down is E4. The black armor may respond in kind with E5. E5 is a very common response. The game may continue with NF3, knight to the F3 square. Makes a lot of sense for the white army attacking the center pawn from the black army. The black army may respond knight to C6, defending its center pawn and helping to control the center. White may continue with a blunder here. Let's say there's 2 novice players playing. Knight captures E5. So the notation would be NX E5. And then we'd probably denote a question mark on that because it seems like a questionable move, clearly a blunder in this particular case. The black army responds with NX E5 as well, capturing back, and doesn't have to worry about being taken in return by any white piece. So clearly a good response for the black army, taking control of the center and making a good trade. If you were following along on a score sheet on the side, your score sheet should look something like this. The first line would read E4 for white's first move, followed by E5. On line 2, you'd put NF3 for white, and C6 for black. On the third move, NX E5, denoting that knight captured a piece on the E5 square. Then we'd put a question mark. You wouldn't probably write this down during the game, but in review of the game you'd add the question mark later, followed by NX E5, the knight capturing back, making a good trade for the black army, disadvantaging white because it lost control of the center and made a poor trade. So you've learned a new language today. You've learned chess notation, algebraic notation for chess. Again, the basic elements are piece that you're moving, letter of the file, number of the rank. If you capture a piece, you're going to put an X after the piece movement. If you are castling kingside, it's 0-0. If you're castling queenside, 0-0-0. If you get a promotion, you're going to write the equal sign after you've made the move and then what piece you took. So for instance, if a pawn moves to the last rank, you'd write equals after that, and let's say you promote to a queen, you'd put Q. So equals Q, and continue on with your notation from there. Again, for chess notation, write down both your moves and your opponent's moves so you can replay the game in its entirety. And you want to review your games afterwards. Look for ways to improve your game. Study and practice is a great way to improve at anything. Chess is no exception.